We started a subject on marriage tagged the mystery of marriage. And as our culture is, I teach in chapters and in verses. So as whatever is taught do not go to waste. So we can document them down. We put them in chapters and in verses. And we've already done the mystery of marriage, chapter 1, verse 1. We are doing the mystery of marriage, chapter 1, verse 2, into brackets, declaring the end from the beginning. Declaring the matter of marriage. Declaring the matter of marriage. Declaring the fruit of marriage from the roots. Declaring the fruit of marriage from the seed of marriage. If you get the seed of marriage wrong, you will get the fruit of marriage wrong. Are you catching it? If you get the root of marriage wrong, you will get the fruit of marriage wrong. You can't claim to have gotten the fruit right if you got the root wrong. If you get the fruit right and do not get the root right, that fruit will not stand. Many began very excited from the beginning in marriage, but as time went on, things shifted. They started enjoying a fruit of marriage they had no seed to write home about. Never be excited to live in a building that has no foundation. For if the foundation be destroyed, or if the foundation does not exist, no matter how righteous you are, you can do nothing. Many marriages are suffering decadence. Many marriages are going through shipwrecks. Many have divorced and have remarried and divorced and have remarried, and they think it is actually their spouse who is the fault. But you've got to understand that nobody is responsible for your predicament but you. The woman you married was not the problem. The seed and the platform and the foundation on which you built your marriage was the problem. We are very good in pointing accusing fingers at people when something goes wrong, when we do not realize that it's actually not them but us. Why? Because change only gravitates towards us. We are actually responsible for every attitude that we see. We are the initiators of attitudes, because it was designed that we attract to ourselves whatever we give out. So it is written, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man shall sow, that he shall also reap. If your marriage is not working, if your relationship is not working, if something is going bad with your marriage, it means you have sown a wrong seed, and that's why you are reaping a wrong fruit. Wow. We are dealing with the mystery of marriage, chapter 1, verse 2. Declaring the end from the beginning. And we are dealing with the topic, understanding marriage. Amazing topic, understanding marriage. You want to get married? Yes. Do you understand marriage? Everyone that entered into marriage, no matter who you are, and came rushing out, never understood it in the first place. You cannot understand a thing and not be standing with the thing after it is all said and done. Everyone that understands has an ability to stand. For understanding is the key for standing. So Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7 says, wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. Get the understanding. With all thy getting, get that which you got understanding. If you get marriage and you do not get its understanding, it will fall. The understanding of marriage is the foundation of marriage. Get the under beneath it. Under the under of marriage, get it standing. So we have the understanding of finances. Oh boy, if they give you $20 million and you do not have the understanding of money, $20 million will come crashing down. You will lose everything. And we go about blaming witches and wizards and blaming principalities and powers. You've got to understand that it is what is bound here on earth that will be bound in the realm of the spirit. Until the earth initiates, the invisible cannot initiate. Until the visible initiates, the invisible cannot initiate. In other words, we, the physical, visible people, are the commander-in-chief of the invisible. We command their activities. We make them do what they do. Understanding marriage. In all thy getting, get the under to be standing. Understanding, the understanding of marriage. Is the under of your marriage standing? My God, an amazing mystery. I can imagine. I do not care who you are, you cannot get these truths and go down in marriage. A table will definitely collapse if the under is not standing. A building will collapse if the under is not standing. Your finances will collapse if the under is not standing. So he says, in all thy getting, get its understanding. Yes, wisdom is principal. Maybe to you marriage is principal. Maybe to you traveling outside the country is principal. I don't know what is principal about you, but nothing can really stand principal until you get the principle that enables it to stand principal. The understanding. It's understanding, the standing of the under. Are you getting the picture over here? The reason why your marriage came crashing down was because it was lacking an understanding. The reason why your relationship came crashing down was because it was lacking an understanding. In all thy getting, get its understanding. You tell me the Bible or the scriptures cannot be true. You tell me we get up and we pick the book called the Bible and we pick knowledge from it. What knowledge can be more sensible and more clear than this? He says, in everything you get its understanding. Wow. What you understand is what stands. So it doesn't matter your degree. It doesn't matter your fortitude in whatever. If you failed, it simply means you have no understanding of that thing. Your mother failed because she had no understanding in marriage. Your father failed because he had no understanding of his marriage. If you are going to fail, it's not going to be because demons came after you. No, it's not going to be because witches came after you. No, it's not going to be because someone came after you. Witches and wizards are not as powerful as your understanding. Are you still there? Witches and wizards are not as powerful as your understanding. Your understanding determines your standing. So therefore, no witch or no wizard can call you to fall, can cause you to fall when you have an understanding. My God, my God, my God, my God, my God, my God. Look at how simple this mystery is, and so many are falling. How could you beat your wife? You have no understanding. And how could your husband beat you? You had no understanding. Failure is a product of lack of understanding. The under of your marriage is not standing. That is why it's crumbling down. I said the table will break down if the under stops standing. And we are dealing with understanding marriage. Definition is the finishing of a thing. The true finishing of anything is its definition. I mean to say, you have a full control of anything you can define. Once you can define it, you will be fine with it. Once you can define it, you will be fine. Simply define, you will be fine. You said witches are bugging you, problems here and there. There is a lack of definition in your life, so there is no finishing. You are never able to finish anything in your life because you do not define. There is no definition, so there is no definition. Are you running helter-skelter from one place to the other, trying to find safety and comfort? Things are not going well. You lack definition. Simply define your circumstance. Define what is happening. Define to define. Wisdom is profitable to direct. It's not that you don't pray much. It's not that you don't fast much. You fast well, you pray well, you do all that you do, but everything you do comes crumbling down simply because you lack understanding. The under is not standing. In order for us to be able to understand marriage, we need to first of all define marriage. The wrong definition will definitely give you the wrong finishing. You can start, listen, you can start excited, but will end in pain. Wrong definition of what you are about to embark on is going to bring about the wrong finishing. And let me say this. If you claim the wife you found was the wrong wife, you defined wrong, so you find wrong. If you define wrong, you find wrong. If you understand what marriage is, define it and understand it, you will find your right partner. The ability to find your right partner is in the ability to define what marriage is in the first place. Come on. If I do not know what it is, then everything qualifies. But if I really know what it is, then I know the qualification that qualifies for it. What is marriage? Right definition. Right definition. Let's understand where the word came from. The Hebrew word for marriage is onah. O-N-A-H. Onah. That's the Hebrew word. And guess what it means? Onah simply means conjugal rights. We are defining marriage to be fine with our marriage. We are defining marriage. Once we define marriage, we will be fine with marriage. If you define marriage, you will be fine with marriage. What is marriage? What is the meaning of the word marriage in itself? For definition is definition. The word marriage is the Hebrew word onah. Or better still, the word marriage in the Hebrew is the word onah. O-N-A-H. Onah simply means conjugal rights or the rights of conjugation. I'll break the English down for you. Conjugal rights or the right of conjugation. What is conjugation? Conjugation is the process of conjoining or interfusing. Conjugation is the process of conjoining or interfusing. So we are talking about the right of interfusing, the right of oneness. Marriage is the right of oneness. God, my God. Marriage is the right of conjoinment. Is the right of conjoinment, is the right of oneness, is the right of interfusing. I like to show you some synonyms of the word conjugation. We talk about conjugation, you're talking about the word conjoin. Conjoin. Ever heard of the Siamese twins or the conjoined twins who have two heads but one body? They walk around the same, they brush their teeth the same, they have to probably have the same bed, rest on the same bed, do everything together because they are conjoined. Marriage is the right of conjoining, is the right of interfusing. Do you understand? Once you understand this, tell me where divorce comes in. Where does divorce come in? Where you understand marriage is the right of conjoinment, conjoining, interfusing, oneness, or better say, pardon my English, oneness. We are talking about the word conjugate, which is the word conjoin, which is the word associate. Your spouse is supposed to be your associate. Do you understand? Your associate. Your wife is supposed to represent you. You are supposed to represent your wife. Is the word coalesce. Is the word combine. The right of combining. The right of coalescing. The right of association. To conjugate is to connect. To conjugate is to conjoin. To conjugate is to associate. To conjugate is to coalesce, to combine, to couple. The word couple. Couple. Say they are a couple, meaning they are conjoined. You see that? More synonyms. Conjugate is to fuse. To fuse into each other. To fuse. Interfuse. Join. Link up. Then we have the word marry. So when you see a Siamese twins, they are actually married. When you see conjoined twins, they are actually married. Then we have the word unify, unite. So marriage is the right. Oh my God. Marriage is the right of conjugation. The right that brings about our conjugation. And the first action in marriage that brings about the beginning of the conjugation is what we call sex, which is a wrong rendering. Sex is not the word for the definition of intercourse. The word is an old word from the Latin. That is the word sexus. S-E-X-U-S. Sexus. And sexus simply means the house. It doesn't mean people are having sex. Sexus simply means the house. So when you say someone is having sex, it doesn't make any sense. What do you mean he's having sex? The word sex simply means half. So we have one sex here, the other sex here. So if the two are together, what is happening is they are interfusing. That interfusion is called marriage. So the scripture says, the man shall leave the father and the mother and be joined, conjugate, and be conjoined. The man shall leave the father and the mother and be conjoined. The husband shall leave the father and the mother and be conjoined to the wife, and the two shall become one flesh. You see this? You see this? Marriage is the right of one fleshing. Pardon my English, but I know you got it. Marriage is the rights. Every of the right from morning till evening. Everything we do within the confines of marriage should be one fleshing. It's supposed to be conjoinment. And I said the first act is intercourse. That erotic deal where the two of us come together to bring about a mixing of our blood. That is actually the beginning of the conjoinment. The beginning of the conjoining process. It is not the end of the conjoining process, because marriage is the right of conjoinment or conjugation. What brought about the oneness between the two of you was intercourse. That intercourse brought about the beginning of the union. That intercourse kind, that dimension called the intercourse, or that picture called the intercourse, is supposed to define every relationship you will ever have. What am I trying to say? The deal of conjugation requires a giving of self to reap self. And it is defined by the foundation, intercourse. And what is that? myself in order to reap myself. You see that? You see that? I have given myself in order to get myself. You see, the female cannot enter the man, but the man can enter the female. And when there is an entrance into the female gets the chance to also enter the man. So when I give my blood, I receive blood. But actually, it is giving myself to reap myself. Better still, it's a picture of giving myself to reap my fullness. Why? Because from the beginning, God created man in his own image. So my question is, what was the image of God? We can find out the true image of God by finding out the true image of man. Because the true image of man will now tell us the true image of God. I'm not dealing with the definition of God yet. That's not the subject today. But when man was in need of a woman, God put his hand into man and brought woman out. Meaning all along, woman was on the inside of man. So from the beginning, the two were one. This is the reason why Genesis 2:18 says it is not good that man should be alone, because man being alone doesn't make him complete. You are incomplete. The true fullness of the image of a man, which is the image of God, is the two becoming one. Until the two have become one, you are nothing but a sex. You are half. You are sexus. You are half. Do you understand it? No one should take away from you the necessity of marriage. The necessity of marriage is coming into the fullness of your true identity, the fullness of your reality, which is the image and the likeness of God. Oh boy, are you getting it? No one should ever take it away from you. Don't lie to yourself that marriage is not good. If you like, you will not marry. If you like, you will not marry. You've got to understand that it takes the two to become one. So if there is no two, there is no one. You are half. And so when that intercourse, that foundational conjugational right, when it takes place, it is giving me a picture of how I give myself to reap myself. You see that? Because the true self of mine, my true self, is actually the picture of the beginning. In the beginning, I was a two-in-one. Every now and then I have a conjugal right with my wife. I am giving myself to reap myself. Are you getting the picture over here? The woman indwells the man. Please understand this mystery. Please understand this mystery. Your husband is your house band. Your house band. HOUSEBAND. House band. Better still, HOUSEBOUND. House bound. Not in the negative sense, but your husband determines the perimeters of your life. So he said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helps qualified personnel. So woman's destiny is to help the man. Why? The man is your destination. You come to help. You come to help. But let's get back here. When there is a conjugal right of the foundation, the foundational conjugal right, which is intercourse between the couple, or between the man and the husband and the wife, what is actually going on is a picture of giving self for self. Do you understand? That's all agape is about. Agape gives self. Agape doesn't give anything more than self or less than self. In agape, you love your neighbor as yourself, because you can only give self to reap self. Marriage is conjugation, conjugational right. And in conjugational right, it is an agape right. Because in conjugational right, you give yourself. He says, greater agape has no man than this. Greater love, greater agape has no man than this, that a man should give his life for his friends. The first conjugal right, which is the intercourse, brings us to the position of understanding that agape kind of conjugation in all direction is what we are called to do. I am called to give self, to reap self in marriage. For marriage is nothing but conjugal right. And intercourse, or what we call sex, is nothing but the foundation of that conjugal right. Are you understanding me? Are you understanding me? We are dealing with understanding marriage. Now let me break it down for you. What does it mean then? If you are not yet married, understand marriage before you get into it. When you enter into marriage, you have entered into a conjugal world, the world of conjugation, where you give self in everything you ever do. You are called to give self. Yourself is what you give to reap yourself. So whenever I give to my wife, I reap what I gave. For whatsoever a man shall sow, that he shall also reap. The rights of conjugational understanding will now bring us to the position why there is problem. There are so many problems in our marriages. The lack of this understanding brings about the disrespect we have for our wives. Why do you disrespect your wife? Because you do not understand that in disrespecting your wife, you are disrespecting yourself. You give insults to your wife, and that is the reason why you reap insults. Because in conjugation, it is what goes that comes. You give to bring. When God gave his son, which was himself, he reaped us. That is how we were drawn to God. God gave his only son to reap the world, which is the wife. Wow. Marriage is nothing but the rights of conjugation. And conjugation is giving yourself, is the giving of yourself is the giving of yourself to reap yourself. Is the seed of yourself you sow to enfruit yourself, if that's the correct English. Alright? Is the giving of yourself as a seed to bring about fruits of yourself. Therefore, actually, the husband mirrors every attitude the wife will ever portray. The husband mirrors every attitude the wife will ever portray. For the male is a projector. The female is the force of reception. And watch this. When the female receives, it gives back to you. This is what we don't know. Never ever blame your wife. You do not blame your wife. Do not blame your wife. Do not blame the lady you are with in relationship. You are responsible for everything that goes on with your wife. Your wife's attitude is a reflection of what you gave her. Definition is the finishing. Definition is the finishing. Your wife's attitude is actually as a result of what you gave her, because you mirror your wife's attitude. For your wife is nothing but a land on which you sow your seeds to determine your fruits. So many men have so disrespected women in marriages, not knowing they are disrespecting themselves. See what Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 28 to 30 actually says. It says, so ought men to love their wives. Don't forget, love is equal to giving. Alright? So ought men to love their wives, or so ought men to give to their wives as they will give to their own bodies. Do you understand? So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. You are supposed to love your wife as you will love your body. Right of conjugation, you give yourself. You want to know what gift is good for your wife? That gift that is good for yourself. The phone you use actually shouldn't be better than the one your wife uses. The car you use shouldn't be better than the one that your wife uses. The house you live in shouldn't be better. The house, the bed on which you rest should not be better than that of your wife. You don't eat better than your wife. You don't get better than your wife. You don't experience better than your wife. No. Love your wife as yourself. Agape. In agape, you give yourself. You give your capacity. Your wife will simply begin to think like you, because conjugation is going on. Do not leave the conjugation at intercourse. Do not leave it as sexual intercourse. Don't leave it there. Don't leave it at that erotic feeling. When you give, when you talk, when you smile, when you laugh, when you communicate, when you work together, everything you do, you are supposed to understand you are Siamese twins. You are supposed to understand that the two has become one. Whatever you do for her is what you actually did for yourself. So do for her what you will actually want to do for yourself. That is how marriage can stand. Go through every archives of marriage that is divorced today, and you will know it was as a result of the lack of this understanding that the marriage failed. Marriage is nothing but conjugal rights, and in that right, you give yourself in every gift you give your wife. The words you are speaking to your wife, your smile, your responsibilities, everything you will ever do for your wife, everything you will ever say to your wife should come in a conjugal form, in an agape form. Wow. So ought men to love or give to their wives as they would give to their own bodies. They should love their wives as their own bodies. You slap your wife, you lack the understanding of marriage. Can you slap yourself? Can you insult yourself? You said to her she was a fool. And when the wife also understands that my husband is my housebound, my destiny, my future, you don't insult your future. You don't disregard your future. You don't speak against your future. What you give honor to gives honor back to you. It's a right of conjugation. Do not forget that whatever the man gives you, you are supposed to give it back to him. If the sperm of the man that entered you was male, you only have to give male back. So it comes back to the fact that every attitude any wife will ever portray in marriage or in any relationship is as a result of what was given by the man. So ought men to love their own wives as their own bodies. For he that loves his wife loves himself. Woo! He that loves his wife is a love for yourself. Loving your wife is loving yourself. He says, for no man ever hated his own flesh. You don't hate yourself. You love yourself. You don't prick yourself with knife. You don't hurt your body because you love your body. You feel the pains of anything that happens to you, and you're supposed to treat your wife that way because her pain is supposed to be your pain. He that loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord cherishes the church. Now listen to this. Verse 30. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. Your wife is a member of your flesh. Oh, what a revelation. God. Your wife is a member of your flesh, your bone, and your body. Your wife is a part of you. Your wife is a bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. Do you understand what Adam said? Adam understood all these mysteries right from the beginning. He says, this is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. Why? Your wife is a member of your flesh, your bone, and your body. Marriage is nothing but the rights of conjugation. We've been dealing with the topic understanding marriage on the segment KMC, Kingdom Marriage Conference, on the program Immortality Channel of Mysteries with your host Jesus, El Immortal, the apostle of the above all heaven mysteries of immortality, on the subject, the mystery of marriage, chapter 1, verse 2, declaring the end from the beginning. Congratulations for this time of a wonderful class with the great I am, the King of Glory. Congratulations. It's time for questions. Congratulations. Christ is asking a question right now. Christ says, is it possible to be sowing your seed of love on an unfertile land? Wow. 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 Now, let's do this. There is no land that is not fertile. Understand this, please. There is no such a thing as a land that is not fertile. I'll say this again. There is no such a thing as a land that is not fertile. Every land has its own kind of seed of love you should sow on it. That is why there are some lands that require that you sow only rice. There are some lands that require that you can only sow coconuts. There are lands that require that you can sow maize or corn. Alright? So first of all, in the direction of the question you ask, in that dimension, I will give you this answer, that there is no land that is not fertile. It depends on the seed that is required to be sown on it. Now listen to me. It is not possible for you to sow your seed of love on a woman with bad upbringing and reap bad upbringing. Don't forget what I said from the beginning. What you sow is what you reap, and the man is the one who is called to do the sowing. The woman is a land. Now you've got to understand that the woman is a land, and knowing where she is coming from, you've got to find out where she is coming from with her upbringing. If indeed she is your wife, important. If she is indeed your ordained wife, first of all, there is a need that this person is indeed the flesh of your flesh and the bone of your bone. Not the bone of some. Don't go and put in your house the bone of somebody else's bone. The flesh of somebody else's flesh. This woman must be the flesh of your flesh and the bone of your bone. If you find that one right and that is correct, because the scripture says, he who finds a wife, there is a finding, meaning it is specially hidden somewhere. He who finds. So you first of all have to ascertain that this person you are dealing with is your true wife. After finding that wife, whether good upbringing or bad upbringing, it doesn't matter at all. If she's yours, you now look at the land. Then begin to sow your seed of love appropriately. Don't start sowing cassava on a kind of land you should be sowing rice. Now forget that. If you sow the wrong seeds, you will reap the wrong fruits. Never forget that. So sow the right seeds in proportion to the land you have been given. Alright? Never forget that. That is how it works. So there is no woman who is given to you as a wife, that is your true wife, that cannot be changed. This is the reason why everyone that divorced their wife for any reason had no excuse. Why? Because you are the projector. What you sow in that land is what you will reap. And there is no such thing as a bad land. Every land is designed for a special seed. Sow the right seeds of love. God bless you. Next person. We have Afterthought saying, God bless you, Daddy. Jesus, El Immortal. If marital conjugal rights begins from intercourse, is it valid before wedding or only after wedding place? Very serious question. We've got to understand that anytime the deal of conjugation takes place, or the deal of intercourse, sexual intercourse takes place, a conjoining process has begun. It might not stand if the conjoining process is not continued. That is the reason why any marriage that stays, the fact that they are married before a court or before family or a ring is placed on your hand, does not mean that that marriage will stand. What determines the stability of the marriage is the different aspects of the processes of conjugation. All right, that first foundation is the sexual intercourse. Many have that sexual intercourse in relationships and still continue to get married. Why it is wrong is because, listen, let's speak the truth. The reason why it is wrong to have sexual intercourse before marriage is because you are being illegal. Alright? You have taken a woman, or you are having a sexual intercourse with a person you have not, by legal rights, honored parents for. Because there are people who took care of her and they have a price for her. So we are what we call bride price. If you do not pay bride price, you cannot have a use. You cannot make use of the bride. Do you understand? If you do not pay the bride's price, you cannot make use of the bride. So making use of the bride before the price is actually stealing a thing, and when you were caught, you now say you are paying. They may beat you before you pay. Alright? And this reality is invisible. A lot of things may go wrong in that relationship because that goods is a stolen goods. That wife is a stolen wife. If the thief be caught, he will pay 7 times. That is the reality. Sex or sexual intercourse before marriage is wrong because actually an act of encroaching on a land that does not legally belong to you. So it is illegal to do that. That's the meaning. Okay? Alright. I will take about 2 more questions. Come make I carry you go. Gonna answer my prayer. You see why you have to always stay tuned for this program and get people on board? People's life is to be changed by this. Marriages are breaking everywhere, and these are the informations they need. How many men, how many husbands are aware that they are responsible for the attitude of their wives? How many are aware? How many know? Your wife can't respect you if you can't respect her. Honor begets honor. For what a man shall sow, that he shall also reap. And a man is ordained to be the sower, and the wife is the land that receives the seeds that have been sown. Oh wow, I love this question from my princess Lydia. Please, what can a wife or woman do to be perfect for the husband? What do you do? What do you do to be perfect? Listen to me. What does a content do to be perfect for its container? What is a content called to do to be perfect for its container? Now you are actually a living content. You are a living, lively, movable content. a content with your own will. You see that? Better say, wouldn't say water has its own will as you do. You are a person with your own will and own desires, and yet you are supposed to be a content of a container. You see that? So my question is, what is a content called to do? To be perfect for a container. What wisdom! Oh my God, it's amazing how when a question comes, Sophia, the insight into the reality of the answers just start popping up, and you say, is Jesus an immortal? No, it's not me, it's my spirit, the King of glory that raised Jesus from the dead. What an answer! What should I do as a wife to be perfect for my husband? A wife is a content, the husband is a container. So my question to you is, though you have a will, you have your desire, you have preferences, you have whatever you want to do, if you are then a content of a container, how do contents behave to be perfect for their containers? They stay humble, they stay controllable, they stay obedient. If water is in a bottle and you want to carry the water about, water does not dispute. Water will go anywhere the bottle goes. You see that? You are a living content. Therefore, what you require is a conscious life of humility and obedience to be able to be perfect for your husband. Congratulations. Wow. Wow. A living content. A wife is a living content of the living container called a husband. Wow. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This has been the program Immortality Channel of Mysteries with your host, Jesus L. Immortal, the apostle of the above all heavy mysteries of immortality, on the segments KMC, Kingdom Marriage Conference. And today we tackled the subject, the mystery of marriage, chapter 1 verse 2, declaring the end from the beginning. Declaring the end from the beginning. The topic of the day was understanding marriage. I'd like to say this to you. If you are part of my viewers, I have a gift for you. It's a gift of indestructibility. It is possible to be indestructible, for with God all things are possible. I say to you, there shall be no accident. If in case you ever see a thing like that, it is the glory of God, because you will come out without a scratch. Hear me and hear me good. If you are connected to me, I say to you, you are dangerously covered. And hear me, I love you. Bye bye.